morning, everybody, and welcome to the 19th episode of Ascent Talks. My name is Ajit and I am an Ascent member for over 10 years, and I lead a company called as Nova, an air conditioning company, and Pure Blue, a tech-enabled startup in the air conditioning domain. And as usual, my co-host is Aleem. How are you doing, Aleem?
Good, Ajit. Good morning and good morning, everyone. Hello, my name is Aleem Merchant. I run a creative marketing and advertising agency called Synapse that specializes in healthcare marketing. And we are very excited to have you this morning to the show that now we've realized has got fans and critics. So wherever we go,
Both.
Ajit and I are slowly becoming famous. But if you're wondering what Ascent is, okay, then no one better than Ajit to tell you about it.
Absolutely. So, for all of you guys who are joining us for the first time, Ascent is a not-for-profit expression of Harsh Mariwala, Chairman, Marico Limited, and his passion to identify high-potential growth stage entrepreneurs and enable them to grow their enterprise and enrich their entrepreneurial journey. Launched in 2012, Ascent today empowers more than 850 entrepreneurs across India. Ascent is designed as a unique, powerful, peer-to-peer platform that leverages the power of the collective through self-facilitated groups called trust groups, which enables entrepreneurs to share and exchange their experiences, ideas, insights, and create a healthy ecosystem to learn from each other. So today's event, which is a weekly event, we haven't missed for the last 19 weeks till now, Ascent Talks showcases interesting Ascent members' entrepreneurial journey. So, Aleem, we have a very interesting guest today. So, let's
Yes.
bring on our guest.
So I'm going to be introducing you to Sweta Mangal today, and she's one of the nicest people you're going to meet in Ascent. I mean, she's one of my favorite people I meet in Ascent every time I go for an event or wherever I meet her. But yeah, so Sweta is the group CEO of Emergency. Emergency Group is backed by leading investors and is largely focused in the space of healthcare, operating ambulances, fertility clinics, and startup incubators. Ms. Mangal is also the co-founder of Zikitsa Healthcare Limited, one of India's leading ambulance companies, and ZHL manages more than 3,500 ambulances across 28 Indian states and has served 46 million people in India since 2005. Okay, let's listen to this. I feel like going in an ambulance. But anyway, presently Zikitsa operates ambulances in India and the UAE. Ms. Mangal has also co-founded Zivia IVF, a leading chain of fertility clinics, which is now in Jaipur and Pune. So Shweta, welcome to the show, and very happy to have you and your bright smile every time we see you on this one. So tell us about Emergency, tell us about the business, tell us about Zivia and all the 3,500 ambulances that you operate.
Thanks, Ajit, and thanks, Aleem. It is such a pleasure to be with you guys. And Aleem, I think I need to thank you because a lot of my business babies are born thanks to you in terms of the
The
identity. So,
pleasure is always mine.
yeah. So let me just take a step back and tell you guys what all I do. So emergency, basically the name, I just want to explain it. It's medical urgency. So, we wanted to kind of be in that space. So this name came up, emergency. And now today, emergency holds majority stake in Zikitsa Healthcare, which is the company which five of us founded. Zikitsa started way back in 2005, and we were a garage setup with two ambulances. Today, we are happy that we have 3,500 ambulances across India. And I was just taking the latest numbers from my team for the show, and I just feel so happy that we've been able to serve 4 crore people ever since we started. I think for me that is the biggest achievement in my life. However, the company has grown, and we have 12,000 people. It's professionally managed, and of course, now my involvement is only on the strategic part. And I was looking for something new to do, and I came across this amazing doctor who is, the goddess of fertility. And with her, we started this chain of fertility clinics. It's called Zivia IVF. Again, the word Zivia means, God of life and fertility. So that's therefore the name. And yeah, I think the journey so far has been great. And I think for me, it's very important that any business I do has a positive impact on people. And anything which does that, I'm always game for it.
Super.
Wow. Tell me something, yeah, Shweta. You don't come personally from a medical background. right?
Not
And why did you get into this business, and what are the kind of opportunities that this industry holds that you actually got into entrepreneurship into this place?
so can I just take like a little bit of a detour and tell you, a little bit of my detailed story, because
Yeah, please.
that will lead me to the point of why I'm in this space. So I actually am an MBA, and I studied in the US, and I came back to India way back in 2000 and to Mumbai to work. I'm a marketing and sales specialist. So I started my career like any other professional would. I worked with companies like Z, with Tata AIG. I used to be the business head at Kaya Skin Clinic, which is actually a part of Marico. And I never in my life thought that I'm going to be running ambulances and fertility centers for sure. And but it just so happened that in Kaya I was exposed to working with doctors, and I think whether it's a dermatologist or any other doctors, the doctors' behavior is pretty much the same, everywhere. So that's where my first interaction with doctors happened. And what I realized was doctors are great at doing what they do, and we are good at really doing what we do. And a combination really works, right? That's what I saw. And it just so happened that my friend, Shafi Mehtar, who's the founder of Zikitsa, he had this great idea of starting a 911 kind of service in India. And this I'm talking in 2003. Now, I was 26 years old, and I was like, what is he talking about? But the idea was very interesting, because at that point there was no central number. My favorite part of this whole journey has been, when we did the market study way back in 2003, and when you dialed the number 102, guess where it went? Aleem, Ajit, any
Police,
guesses?
police station.
Police
Right.
station.
All right, good guess. But, it actually was mapped to a crematorium,
Oh my God.
because the reality was people only called for ambulances when somebody was dead, not someone when someone was alive. There was no belief that an ambulance will turn up. So that was my moment, and I said, yes, we need to do this. And of course, Shafi was really a motivating leader. And I left my high paying corporate job at Kaya and joined this startup. And and that's how I got into working in this space. And I'm very happy that I work with several doctors, and there are no clashes, because business people do what business people have to do, and medical people do what medical people have to do. And we really maintain those boundaries very well.
That's amazing. But what are the kind of opportunities that this industry holds? Yeah, because now that you stepped in and you come in with from a non-medical background, what are the kind of things that you see? I mean, especially for people who want to get into this industry, you could throw
Right.
some light around the opportunities here.
Right. So I'll talk about the emergency care industry first, because that's what I've done for 20 years. And honestly, we were the pioneers in doing it. But after that, maybe there have been a lot of followers, which is very good, because one person or one company cannot change the landscape. So a lot of opportunity has come in this sector because of the government. So after they started, the 108 service in a few states way back in 2005, now all the states have replicated this. So all 30 states in India now have a service which is 108, which is operated by a private operator. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, when you dial the number 108, a good ambulance will come to your rescue. So that opportunity is great in terms of numbers. Also, related to that, government also has now done tenders for medical mobile units, wherein you go to the villages and treat the people who cannot come to the hospitals. So that's another area where we've expanded. There has been a separate fleet of ambulances which we work with the government for pregnant women. So that also has helped increase the institutional deliveries in the rural part of India. So government is a huge opportunity, I would say, but of course it comes with its pros and cons, and we have to live with that. On the private side, also, people have become very health conscious, and the COVID has been life changing and game changing for any healthcare company. Everybody wants to take care of themselves, build their immune system. So we actually now have a separate vertical which focuses on the corporates. So for a corporate, anything they need, which includes whether they need a ambulance service for their employees, or whether they need a medical room, occupational health center, telemedicine, counseling services, you name it, and we provide that. And I'm happy that, like how we have become one of the largest in the government sector, in the private also, in the next 2 years we will be the largest.
Wow. So Aleem, what she's saying is phone call used to go to the crematorium. I changed that और पूरा देश बदल गया. That's what she's trying to say.
मैंने नहीं
Amazing,
बोला
man.
देश बदल दिया, मैंने कभी नहीं
हमने
बोला.
बोल दिया ना, आपने नहीं
नहीं
बोला, लेकिन हमको समझ में आ गया ना.
नहीं, मैंने नहीं बोला. We made a small effort, and that small effort was replicated by a lot of people. And I think, when you have a new industry forming, we never ever thought that we'll be the only one who will change it. And we are so happy that today there are 7, 8 success stories in this space. And together we are probably, helping this small bit in India.
That's amazing. Truly
Yeah,
amazing.
and I truly believe that in healthcare, even if you affect one life, that's great. If desh nahi badla, that's a different thing. But even one life changing is a great thing that happens in this space.
Yeah, and
So,
also just coming to the fertility part, I mean, I got into it because I met this great. So I always believe in working with good people. I think if you work with good people and do good things, everything else will follow.
true.
And I didn't know when I got into this fertility area that the problem was so huge. 1 out of every 5 couple today is facing infertility issues. And it's always, obviously the given fact is that today the lifestyle, the stress, the phone, the food, everything is just not the way it should be. And that leads to all these issues. And one major thing which I found out was that always infertility, people used to think, "Arey, women mein problem hai." It's not that. 50% is because of the women and 50% is because of the men. And I think that's also been a great sector to be in. And I now see, I mean, in 1 year we opened 2 centers, and we're going to open 2 more this year. So yeah, we want to scale that up rapidly, not just so that we do a good business, but also that the kind of work which we're doing can be benefited to a lot of people.
Super. And Shweta, what are the challenges you face? I mean, there are opportunities and then there are challenges. Like you said, working with governments is one thing. So, what kind of challenges do you face in this whole scenario? Let's take the ambulance piece first, and then we'll probably do the infertility one.
So we promise that this show is going to be insightful and exciting. So I don't want to, take away much of that from this answer. But challenges, I think, are in every business, and we all have entrepreneurs have been through it. Finding the right team is the biggest challenge when you are really small and when you don't have the money to pay, and to get people who really believe in your vision and passion is always a challenge. I mean, today the company is, really scaled up, and we have 12,000 employees. But still, in the core team, I always keep looking for those good people who have the passion to do what we are doing, right? So I think that is always a challenge. Money, funding. You always have to be on a roadshow, because to grow a good idea, initially, of course, you can bootstrap it, and you get families and friends to help you out with it. But at scale, you need the money, right? So that always is a, I would say, challenge. But yes, now the market has become much better. Way back in 2007 when we started, I mean, it really was very tough. Working with the government, of course, it's a big challenge, but it also gives you the volume. And like I say, you want to, when you have your values clear in your mind, I think there are a lot of decisions which you take become very clear, right? And so when we work with the government, of course, we have to deal with all kind of people, all kind of things which happen. But I think we are very clear as to how we want to do the business. In fact, we have said we have lost a lot of business because we are not in any of the things which are required to be done, and we just say no, or we are happy to lose. But we don't compromise on the quality of the service which we provide. So I think that's been a challenge, but it's okay. I never say we want to be the number one ambulance company in India. I know it's not possible given the values we have, but so be it. It's okay.
But Shweta, this also brings to a question, because you actually pioneered this whole thing of emergency and everything. But then what got you into IVF? Because that's a different space altogether. Why did you choose that space?
Well, so obviously, as every company, when the company grows, you've come through a lot of points when there are things which are not working the way you wanted to make it work. There are things which you feel not very comfortable with, and at that point, I said, look, I may not, I've done my bit in Zikitsa, and maybe now it's time for somebody else to kind of take it to the next level. You have to realize as an entrepreneur what you can do and what you cannot do. And when you do a startup, it's a different story. When you scale up, it's a different story. And that's when I took a back seat. Right now, I am as a personality is not used to backseat. Well, I have taken a backseat in Zikitsa, but then I wanted to do challenge myself with something new. And believe me, I didn't go looking out for it. It just happened. And when it happened, I said, let's try with one clinic. And yeah, and now I really kind of enjoy doing what I'm doing.
Shweta, these sound like really big numbers, really big geographies you're covering, so much impact. What is the impact? What is the joys that you've bought? Tell us a little about, how your business is actually, I know you're being humble about it, but how is it changing the landscape in India overall?
Well, so to start with, I think one of the leading public-private partnership projects in India in NRHM or NHM has been the ambulance service, right? The 108.
Yeah.
I think earlier when the government used to do stuff, everything used to be like we have to do it on our own. Which of course, I personally believe government should be at a strategy level, thought process level. The execution should actually be left to private parties. But the trust factor was really lacking. And initially the first few projects we did, actually I had this conversation with a few officers that why do you always think that the private sector is bad, and you're always thinking that we are here only for the money. So that was the mindset which was there, and I'm happy to state that today 108, and not just because of us, because of there are two other competitors also who've got, I mean, we've done a good work. And because of that, they probably have got the confidence to do PPP in other projects as well, which are
Wow.
health related. So I just told you about the pregnant women fleet, which we have, and our competition has. Now, you'll be very interesting. There's a huge project of the government, which is called veterinary units, mobile veterinary units. So just how you have the ambulance services to serve people, there are going to be in the next 2 years, every state will have a separate fleet of vans only to treat animals,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
and
I love that.
and also the beauty is that that is going to be again done in PPP, right? So I think it's been a win-win situation for both sectors, the private and the government, because the government has been able to focus on thinking through what they want to do, and the private sector, which includes us, is the implementing arm. So I think that's the change we have brought to the landscape, right?
That's amazing. Yeah, that's absolutely amazing because
Really.
you got into business to make a difference and then you actually build it, scale it, and monetize it. That's fantastic. So it becomes very sustainable. But here's the big
Absolutely.
question.
It has to be sustainable. I mean, I
Yeah.
am really telling you that initially, actually, when we started, we were, like I said, I was 26, and Shafi was very eager to, he has this vision that, you should leave this country, the way you wanted to see it, right? So you want to make it a better world. And we thought we'll do NGO, we'll do charity and all. But then we realized, भैया charity पे नहीं चलने वाला, ये तो business की तरह ही चलेगा, because at the end of the day, the person who is getting served by a driver and a paramedic or a doctor, and they have to run their houses. Similarly, the call center people have to run their houses. So how much money are you going to raise through charity, right? So at the end of the day, it has to be a sustainable business.
Yeah. So, but Shweta, before I take you to the next question, I've heard you speak at the UN, and you must share that little thing of how you actually started off charity and realized, yaar, ye to nahi chalne wala hai, and then you guys actually reinvented on how to make it sustainable, and that's a very interesting way you guys looked at the business. So please do share with us that.
Yeah. So when we started, like I said, we thought we were going to do charity service. We started with two ambulances, and it was like, okay, we'll charge people based on how they look and whatever. So somebody used to say, "Acha discount de do, to de do." Or कोई कह रहा है पैसे ले लो तो ले लो. So we said ऐसा नहीं चलने वाला. 3 months, we realized that our model is completely flawed. We cannot work like that. So the first change we brought about is that the rate card was based on the destination, because today, if a person chose to go to a Hinduja or to Leelavati or to a beach candy, you would say, sir, you have to pay these charges. But if the person wanted to go to a government hospital, which is a KEM or a Sion, the rates were subsidized for that. So this is when we were working privately. And also to kind of earn additional revenue, we gave the outside of the ambulance as branding opportunity to corporates. And I remember there's one early article which came, we said, oh, the Formula One ambulance has been launched, because at one point we had like some 10 logos on the ambulance. So that's how we pivoted from just kind of being very loose and charity based to having this cross subsidy model. And this cross subsidy model worked. We were cash flow positive in 6 months. And this model was picked up worldwide by all the B schools, whether it's Stanford, Harvard, you name it, and everybody was talking about it. And then we realized that this model will work only in a metro, because that's where the rich and poor kind of exist. What happens to the rural area? And while we were thinking, I think sometimes, God aligned stars. I strongly believe that. And, the government started thinking of doing this 108, and, the tenders started to come out. And I think today I'm very happy that when we work with the government, the major impact is in the rural sector, right? Because private people, I mean, people who can pay, they have a lot of options and choices, right? It's the people who are in the rural sector who are, who don't have the money to pay, need that service. And we also can't do it free. So it's a win-win for all again. So that's how it happened, the whole story.
Amazing.
And my one
Absolutely
favorite
amazing.
story is about how we got the 1298 number.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know about it, but again, it goes back long back. And we said, oh, we should have a very fancy number, 911-999. That's when we were not working with the government. And then we started this whole thing about getting a private number. We said it should be a 3-digit number. So India may 3-digit number is only given to government agencies. So that went out of the window. Then we said, okay, let's get a 4-digit number. So then they said our series only start with 12. So we said, okay, great, give us 1299, or something which has that 99 thing to it. And the file just went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Finally, we said, what is happening? And this was in Delhi. We had to go to Delhi. That time we didn't have money also. So, taking a flight to Delhi and, sitting with the officers. So every time we would go have a cup of chai and come back. And it's like, oh God, what a waste of that flight. Then basically somebody wanted something to be done, right? And that's why that number was not coming. So then the guy said, okay, I've already allotted the 1299 number to somebody else. But he said, we've been coming for so long, you never told us. I said, no, we have done it. Now what to do? So we said, what is available? So he says, 1298 is available. So we said, okay, you give it. And he said, beggars cannot be choosers. So we just chose that number, 1298, and that's what it is.
So there's no numerology to
Amazing.
this.
Sweta, you've been an Ascent member now for 10 years. You're one of the oldest members. Tell us about your Ascent journey and how did it happen and what's been the journey like?
I think sometimes I feel Ascent has been like my parents, okay? Like my family. I've grown up in Ascent. And when I joined Ascent, I was a very different entrepreneur. And today I'm a completely different entrepreneur. And I would say I'm a better leader. And a lot of credit goes to Ascent. The kind of people who are in my group, I learn from them every meeting. I know how to conduct myself. I was very young when I started my entrepreneurial journey. And it's not that I inherited this business from my parents. So everything was doing it, on the go. And now when I look back, I feel that if Ascent was not there, I would have made so many mistakes in this journey. I did make mistakes still. I'm not saying I didn't make any mistakes, but the mistakes, of course, have been much lesser. When I went through a very tough phase in my life where I just spoke about, I said, no, the company needs to grow and, maybe I'm not the right person to lead it. Then what to do? I was in a space where I was in a very dark space, because after you've been here, running a large company, and then going back and saying, okay, I'm going to do another startup from scratch. And they're not even startup. I had ideas like I'll go and work for someone. I will, do something which is only social or whatever. And my trust group just said, no, Shweta, you're an entrepreneur and you will bounce back. And I did bounce back, right? And I think at that, when you're at the low moments, the support you get is very important. And that's what Ascent gives me. And that's why I'm always there for all Ascent meetings and Ascent function, because I really feel that they've contributed a lot to my journey. And if I can contribute to any entrepreneur's journey, I feel I'll be privileged.
Oh, amazing.
That makes three of us, Shweta. All three of us have benefited from it, and I think all three of us, in some way, whenever there's a call from Ascent, we all stand up and do whatever we can. I think that's the beauty about this entire ecosystem.
So Aleem, in the last meeting, that function we had, Ascent event, now I have people like they'll say, your bhabhi is in our group, your brother is in our group, you're this. I'm like, now it's become a family.
As long as the trust stays and the secrets stay within the group. Yeah. But you're like a South Bombay girl working with rural. I mean, that's a rare combination, But tell us about your personal life, about not personal life, but personal hobbies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What do you do that keeps you interested in life generally?
All right. So first of all, I'm not a Sobo girl. I am from a small town in Rajasthan called Byawar, and I'm very proud of it.
Wow.
I came to Bombay only in 2000, and my husband is a Sobo guy, and he's a typical Sobo guy, but I love him.
Typical Sobo guy. Gosh.
Yeah.
I hope he's listening to this. I hope he's listening to
Not
this.
here
Dude, you're
anywhere.
getting husband bashing here. You're getting husband bashing here.
No. Not bashing. I said I love him. Okay. Okay, guys. We have 3 minutes to go. Okay.
Yes.
So, so I'm from Rajasthan, by the way, small town girl, born and brought up there, and came to Bombay like that. I think I love meeting people. I think that's my inspiration. If I'm having a bad day, I'll just call up a friend. I'll call somebody random and say, let's meet for coffee. And I'm just back in action, right? So that's my number one hobby. I love Bollywood. I get a lot of inspiration and motivation from Bollywood, and I'm not shy of it. I am spiritual. I'm very spiritual. I love BK Shivani, and I do take care of myself in terms of mind and body. And I love exercising, and I love dancing, and I love traveling, and I don't like reading.
Awesome, man. Too good, yeah. So, Shweta, it's very inspiring actually hearing you for the last 30 minutes. I've been completely clued on, lost track of time, but you did keep a track of the time. So, we're just about at the end of the show. So,
thank you. Talking about my husband, no? So then it will not.
That means look at the clock. Look at the clock. That's all.
30 minutes उसमें ही जाएगा.
Nice. But awesome, Shweta. What a fabulous story. We wish you the very best. And I'm sure everyone who listens to this is quite inspired at what you've achieved. And thank you so much for coming on to Ascent Talks and sharing this journey with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And, I must tell you, just last leaving thought, actually two things. One is I met Aleem through Ascent, and two of my new business ideas, actually, he's given the identity. One is Zivya IVF, which is beautiful, the logo and this, I love it. And there's another brand called Zen Plus, which we are launching, which again has been done with us, Aleem and his team. His team is fabulous. So, that's another outcome of Ascent network.
Awesome.
And I just want to leave everybody with one thing, which I strongly believe in. And I think it's really helped me, and probably it will continue to help me in the future, is that no matter how tough things are out there, just think positive, because it's your thought which actually creates your destiny. So never be mean to yourself. Take care of yourself the way you take care of your child. So that's the only thing.
Wow. The spiritual side is showing up, buddy. It's really showing up. But thank you so much, Shweta. Thank you very much for taking time for us. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
See you soon.
See you soon. What an awesome discussion here. Very inspiring, fabulous stuff. So So that's the event that we've had today, and I'm sure you will love what she's spoken and what she shared with us. So if you're an entrepreneur and just like doing what you're doing, just share, be with us every Friday, share these stories, and every Friday we'll come with another inspiring story. But if you believe that you're an entrepreneur who wants to scale up, who wants to be part of Ascent, like all the Ascent members who've shared their Ascent journeys with you, get to ascentfoundation.in and put in an application, and an Ascent team member would get in touch with you. And if you fit that criteria, then we'll be happy to have you in our cohort. So that's about it, what we have for today. And we're going to see you next Friday at 11 o'clock with another interesting entrepreneurial journey. What do you say,
Yes.
Mali?
Absolutely. And I believe the next show is also going to be very good. So whoever's tuned in today, please tune into the next one. Yes, and thank you, Shakun, for your lovely comment where you're saying it's been amazing to have Shweta as a boss when she left to follow her calling with entrepreneurship. It's left me very inspired. It was wonderful to hear the journey of 20 years. Thank you so much, Shweta. Lovely to see you after 18 years. 18 years. Okay, that's fantastic. I'm glad Ascent Talks is actually
That's
connecting
amazing.
18 years later. So, okay, all the best.
All the best, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today, and see you next Friday at 11 o'clock. Bye bye. Have a wonderful weekend, and share this video and share it with everybody.